Hey everybody, welcome. Guess who I'm here with? Our special guest, Sam Ronan. You know him. He ran for the DNC chair this year, and he made the big news because he had the audacity to answer a question straight. It was really awkward for everybody. And I saw Tom Perez really just looking at you so longingly like, oh, God, well, wouldn't it be great to have my balls back? Wouldn't it be nice? But I don't. So he couldn't answer the question. And the question was the campaign rigged, right? And you didn't have a problem answering that. And did the DNC rig the campaign, the primary?
Yes, Jimmy. The DNC did rig the primary, and it wasn't just against Bernie. It was against everybody. If you were an outsider, you don't get a seat at the table. Period.
Yes. So they don't want to hear from progressives in the. So look, you were a message candidate, right, Sam? Did they get the message?
Clearly not. So some of you may have watched it, some of you may not have watched it, but Resolution 33 was the opportunity for the DNC to earn back some of that trust, right? That respect. What Resolution 33 was, the opportunity to get rid of the corporate money and the lobbyist money from the DNC. And guess what they did? They voted against it.
No, this was Obama's rule. Like Obama,
Yeah.
this wasn't even as broad as that. This was even more narrow, and they couldn't even agree to do that. So, what were some of the conversations like when after that got voted down, and they decided to basically keep on doing that thing that lost them elections? Because the whole idea, and Thomas Frank explained it to everybody on the show, that the idea of why the Democrats take the corporate money is because they can't show up to a knife fight with a spoon. And so that means we have to have as much money as we can to win, except they've been losing and losing and losing, and they've been outspending the Republicans. Like Hillary Clinton spent twice as much than Donnie Tonahan's, and she lost, right?
Right.
And they've been outraising them like crazy, and they're still losing. So the whole idea of why you're going to turn your back on your working class base and get in bed with Wall Street is because you're going to win, but they're wiped out, and they're still doing it. Mm-hmm. So what is their thinking?
Oh my God, I wish I knew, because it's not logical. I mean, you just said it. They're taking all this corporate money, they're spending twice as much as the other guy, and they're still losing. I mean, logically, you'd be like, this isn't working for some reason. Maybe we should, go back to the table, get out our calculator, do some math, and figure out, oh yeah, people hate us. People are not happy with what we're doing. Oh wait, what are they saying? Oh, get the money out of... No, we're not going to do that. And I told them that. And here's the worst part. So the DNC was in the front of the room, and then in the middle you had like a few of the VIPs, and then the journalists and all that, the reporters. And behind them you had like the people, the regular folks who managed to get into the building. When they were talking about Resolution 33, there was booing. And I'm not talking boo. I'm talking like pitchforks and torches booing. And it was not subtle. It was really ugly. And these DNC members, they don't get it. So the question is, what are they thinking? I have no idea.
So you're still a Democrat?
So now, Jimmy, as much as I want to answer that question the way everybody wants to hear it, the duopoly and the ballot access in Ohio, which is where I'm from, it's not like California. You cannot just run as whatever you want and there's a chance that you might win. In Ohio, you have two choices, Republican and Democrat. And where I live, and based on the way the Republican Party is leaning, I can't stomach being a Republican. But as a Democrat, I can put my toe in the door, get on the ballot, and still say the things that I'm saying.
So you're saying kind of like it's for practical matters.
Yes.
You're a Democrat, but you're a progressive. You would consider yourself a progressive.
Absolutely.
And so like you're for single-payer health care.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you for free college?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Because now you're from the military. Now, Trump just proposed, I think, $54 billion increase in spending that he's going to take from other departments. And Bernie's plan for free college was only going to cost like $60 to $70 billion. So right there, we could have paid for it. So all those people who ran around saying, how are you going to pay for that? Apparently, we can just always pay for things we want, right?
Right. Apparently, if you want, what's important, right? Let's put more bombs in the Middle East, because apparently that's what we need to be spending our money on, and it's not.
So do you think? I think most people would be for, even though I saw it. I wish I had those statistics in front of me. Mm-hmm. That most people think we're not spending, we're spending enough or need to spend more. Mm-hmm. So people are happy with what we're spending or spend more on the military. Like only 25% of the people think we spend too much on the military. What is that because, again, of the Communication Act of Telecommunications Act? We only have 6 companies bringing you all the news, and that's why.
Yeah, it's absolutely the messaging. And Jimmy, I'm one of the 25%. I'm in the military. I'm a reservist still, right? I was active duty for 5.5 years. And the joke among literally everybody is we're spending way too much money on simple things. You want to talk about something as silly as buying a stack of paper, 500, you can go to Walmart and get that paper for like $5 or $6, right? You go to the military, store equivalent, can't think right now what it's actually called, but it's like $13. And then there's other
called
things.
The PX? What is it called?
No, it's not the PX. I think it's AFES. You have to.
Oh, okay.
That's where our office supplies are. But like, for instance, our uniforms, they're like $45 for the shirt. $40, and my boots, those are $140. Issued, yay, great. But if you have to buy a new pair, guess what? That's $140 out your pocket. Those boots are not any better than the Sears brand or whatever. So what we're doing, the military budget is like $600 billion,
right?
But we're overspending on literally everything, while cutting training, while cutting services, while cutting benefits, and sending our people overseas for no reason.
So I thought that if the Democrats are resisting Trump right now by saying how bad he is, but they don't seem, again, still in what I think why Hillary lost and the Democrats are wiped out is they don't have anything to replace, like how the Republicans don't have a replacement for Obamacare. And people,
they do. They're hiding it.
I know, yes. And people know that. It's just like the Democrats don't have a replacement for Trump's, and people know that. You don't have. What are you going to give me? What's their plan?
Right.
You want to stop the foreign wars and reinvest the money back here? People don't. They know. They have no plan. Is it single payer? Is it a $15 minute? What is your plan that you're offering people? And we see the response from the former Kentucky governor, because that's the face of the future of the Democratic Party. Retired, gray-haired guys from deep red states. That's really the voice of the Democratic Party going forward. Correct?
Right. And I mean, like you were saying, people do not need something to fight against. There's times and places like World War II. You fight against the Nazis. Why? Because they're fucking evil.
Right.
That's something to fight against. But we're not fighting against the Nazis. We're fighting against Trump and his idiocy.
Right.
But what we're not focusing on is what can we get behind. And like you said, the Democrats are not offering it. Bernie offered it. He said, if you vote for me, this is what we're going to work towards: a better minimum wage, universal health care, education, or at least something close to it. I mean, he's going to promise it, but is he actually going to get it through Congress? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is, he gave us a message to fight for, and the Democratic Party isn't. So
when people ask, I've noticed this has happened at town halls. It happened at the DNC debate where Chris Cuomo asked the one gentleman who was a lawyer who was running for DNC chair, hey, make a case. For the Democrats. What's your case for the Democrats? And he didn't have a case. He just kept talking about we need to invigorate the base and get everybody excited. But for what? Excited about what? Right? And that's the same thing. There was a town hall in San Diego last week. Michael Tracy was there, and a woman stood up and said, I went out and knocked on doors for Barack Obama, and I knocked on doors for Hillary Clinton, and nobody who I was talking to could tell me what the Democrats stood for. Even people who said they were going to vote for the Democrats couldn't say what they stand for. So can you tell me what you stand for? And he couldn't. They just do all that stuff. We stand for opportunity and everybody having a good job. That's not a policy that could help me get that. That's all platitudes. So why do you think the Democrats still speak like that? Is it because of money? Is it because they have no soul? And how do you fix it?
So I hope it's not because they don't have any soul. I hope it's just the money influence. But unfortunately, I think it's the money influence. Because like you're saying, or rather, it's also what I was saying. I joined the DNC race because they weren't answering the question, right? Nobody was stepping up to be leadership. What we lack is statesmanship or stateswomanship, just colloquialisms, right? What we're lacking is true leadership. It's not about It's not about fighting this person or fighting that person or, the rhetoric. I said it on CNN. It's not enough to have a caucus or a committee, because that quintessentially says that as a minority, you do not have a strong enough or equal enough voice to be at the table in the first damn place. I think it's offensive that we have caucuses. Now, granted, they're necessary because of the way things are, but it's not enough, because if the caucus has, 100 people, and they're talking about their minority issues and they pick up 3, and then they say, hey, these are the 3 issues that we as the Black Caucus or the Women's Caucus, these are the 3 things we like. And they bring it to the executive committee. Well, there's however many caucuses. I'm just going to say a dozen. I don't know how many there are, but let's say there's a dozen. Now there's 36 things in front of the executive committee on top of whatever the hell they want. Now they're picking and choosing, which one of these 30 things do we care about? And they get rid of everything except for what the Hispanic community brought to the table. So now you have this caucus. You just spent all that time and energy fighting for your voice, and it got disregarded because priority is the Hispanics right now. That is absolute crap. And that's not democracy. That's not working together. That's not giving somebody to fight for.
So how do you fix that?
Well, you don't fix it in the Democratic Party, apparently. What you do is you create an opportunity for people to collaborate and to communicate. Now, that's easier said than done, right? But we see it with these progressive movements. The Bernie-crats of California. You see it with the Bernie-crats of Ohio, New Progressives, Justice Dems, all this, right? Everybody's talking about it and doing certain parts of it. What you lack is that home where everything goes, a toolbox, right? Just a little box that's empty, and you put in the Justice Democrats, the new 535, the Bernie-crats of California, and then all of a sudden you have something to work with and work for.
Okay, so again, it still sounded a little platitude-y to me.
Well, it's okay. I'm still working on the pitch, Jimmy. Give me some credit here.
So tell me, let me state the question a different way.
Okay.
Let me just say what that woman asked. I think his name was Scott Peters. I have to double check the time.
You mean Pekarsky?
It's a guy from San Diego who was asked this question. The question was, tell me right now, what did the Democrats stand for?
All right. So the Democrats aren't standing for anything other than we're not Trump.
Right. And what would you like them to stand for?
I would like for them to stand for the things that people care about, which is the laundry list, universal health care, education, a livable wage, whether that's $15, $20, some sort of profit sharing, some sort of other mechanism. These are the things. The New Deal. That's what we need to stand for, is the New Deal. Either bring it back or call it the New Deal for all I care. We can call it the Pink Pony Plan.
So do you think the Democrats will come? That's what I've been saying. They need a New Deal. They need it. So why do you think? So it's again, I guess it just goes back to the way the gears work inside of a corporate politician's brain. It's because I can't say I'm for this because my donors are not for this.
Exactly.
My donors aren't for decent trade deals that favor the worker over the patent holder or the corporation. My donors aren't for a Green New Deal. My donors aren't, right? So their donors are Wall Street people who are. So again, we have to go back to the root problem. Do you think that we can fix any of this stuff in the Democratic Party? Again, did you say no already?
I think I said no because you have to infiltrate the party. And I'm not saying it's impossible to do. I'm saying that the party itself isn't going to do it without some sort of influence, whether that's an inside influence or an outside influence. I would suggest doing it all. Right now,
I agree. I'm saying all of the above for everybody. People are like, well, the Justice Democrats have this. But I'm like, yeah, but we need to do whatever they can do.
Yeah.
And then whatever that the Bernie-crats, everybody needs to be applying the pressure they're applying.
Exactly. And it needs to be unified. If the Justice Dems and the Bernie-crats are applying the same pressure as in, fundraising. Let's just say fundraising.
Yeah, okay.
But you're splitting your market by the Justice Democrats and the Bernie-crats, and now this money is split in half and they're not sharing the resources, then it defeated the purpose of fundraising. So if the Bernie-crats then decide to go with the fundraising and then the Justice Dems go for, say, finding the right candidate, and they do their little vetting process, at least then you got the money on one side, all in one area, ready to go. And you got the politicians, the candidates ready to go on this side. And then you need somebody to come up with, well, how do you run? How do you get involved? And then the Dore. That's the thing. We need to build that team. Everybody's a player. Like a baseball team. You got a pitcher, batter, so on.
So I thought that when Trump got elected, that the people who lost to him would step aside. And it turns, I know, I was so dumb.
or hopeful.
And I just thought that they were like, well, he couldn't be more embarrassed than that. And so now they're going to acquiesce. And they're not. They're holding on.
They're doubling down.
That's exactly what's happening. And I thought that now you're a military guy. I had said on this show plenty that I thought the Russia thing and the Democrats' complete attention to it was them hoping to distract everybody from doing an autopsy on what's wrong with the Democrats and why they're wiped out at every level of government. And they were just trying to get from the election day to the inauguration, and they made it. And now they're really in, and they're not letting it go. What do you think? I mean, Russia's not communist anymore. Like the thing was, we were supposed to be afraid of Russians because they were going to infiltrate us and they're going to take over and make us communist. Well, they're not fucking communists anymore. So what are we afraid of?
And see, that's the thing too. First of all, blaming Russia for everything is only going to piss Russia off. And when Vladimir Putin was from the KGB, I don't necessarily know if I want to piss off an assassin with a military behind his back. So aside from that, okay, let's say Russia did influence politics. That doesn't change the fact that the Democratic Party screwed up too. I mean, kill all the birds with one stone, right? Okay, Trump is a bad person. Well, then we'll get Pence. Get rid of him too. Well, then we get Paul Ryan. Get rid of him too. Then we get Mitch McConnell. Hello? We are the 99%, are we not? 270 million freaking people can't make a decision to upend the sort of trash basket that we're stuck with? I mean, come on. Sorry.
So no, I'm with you. So I thought that the left would coalesce with the independents, and it seems like the left is fragmenting because the people who are the problem, won't get out of the way. They won't unify. They keep saying, let's come together, which means to me, progressives, shut up and back the stuff, back our democratic form of corruption, which is not going to happen.
You're right.
We're not going to back corruption anymore. Right. That loses elections. So how can the progressive or how can the left unify? Do you think they can unify?
I absolutely do think they can unify, and that's been my message since the DNC race a week ago, right? No, that's what I've been trying to talk about from the very beginning, is that there is so much more that unites us than what divides us. And when we keep coming up with yet a new progressive movement, yet a new activist movement, we're diluting our resources. And the problem is, even having that conversation, people are like, yeah, we got to work together and do this thing. But you know what I want to do? Like, it's in the same sentence, in the same breath. We have to look past the now and look at the future. What's the end game? Get rid of corruption. Okay, how do we get there? We have to win elections. Okay, cool. How do we get there? Well, we pick people that are good candidates. Awesome. Now, how do we get there? Oh, we start, our own vetting processes, working together, fundraising, and it's simple, right? Yeah. Is it essentially a party? Sure. You have to have the organization, right? You have the central blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean you have to actually create a third party that's on the ballot. It just means you have to have the infrastructure of one. That's what I talked about. I'm just trying to build the box. All I want is a giant-ass database where it's essentially the map. You click on California, you click on LA County, and you're like, oh, mayor's race. Boom. This is who's running. This is how we can support them. Or, hey, I want to be the mayor. This is what I have to do, and this is the kind of support I need.
And so are you really trying to develop a database like that? Are you doing that?
Yeah, that's actually what I'm working on. And obviously doing all the groundwork by myself.
That seems like a big project.
It is a big project, but so many other groups are already doing it. And it's impressive to see how many people are doing the same exact thing and doing the work over and over again. I'm trying to, like, for instance, I was talking to a couple of the different progressive movements, and, like, for instance, Dementor, they have the big list of names. Or supposedly they have the big list of names. Somebody does.
And Bernie's got that list.
And Bernie's got that list, right? So say we want to do a fundraising mechanism. Bernie Sanders already has the fundraising list.
Right.
Cool. So now we need a central pot of money. Yeah, I get it. It sounds...
So you're saying for progressives.
Right,
for
progressives.
You're saying...
And
right.
It's not even...
outside the Democratic Party.
Outside of the partisanship. Because 75% of the electorate is not a Democrat, right? Because
Yeah.
that includes the Republicans.
Right.
And then 75% isn't Republicans because that includes the Democrats, right? So we need to hone in on all of that 75% that just doesn't want to be affiliated with something. It's
Okay.
double counting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So, do you have a website? How do
I
you
sure do.
What is your web? You really do. What is your website?
It's thejoesinitiative.org.
the Joe's Initiative.
It's going to be the initiative one day. Once I get $20,000, I can buy that domain.
Oh, okay.
So now somebody's going to go out there and buy it. So please do, and then sell it to me for $1. Okay. But seriously,
Who's Joe?
it's a play on the average Joe.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you and I, we're just regular people, average Joes.
I got you.
I
Right.
mean, the nomenclature is irrelevant. I could call it the
I got
Pink
you.
Pony process, the
Okay.
Pink Pony pack.
So that's great. And so that's what you're working on. You're not running for office anymore?
Well, essentially, yes and no. If I can build this thing, this app, this website where you click on the state and the county and then you find out whatever, then I can use the same damn thing and run for Congress or Senate or governor or whatever. That's the point. It's supposed to be a tool for Jimmy to be like, hey, I want to be this guy, and you do it. Or, you know what, I want to help these people. This is how. That's the thing. It's a tool.
So okay, so I didn't. So this is a real thing you're really doing, and you're not a coder. You're just raising money to do it, to get someone, and you're hiring people, right?
Yeah, I'm working on that fundraising mechanism. We're going to be rolling that out either later this week or on Monday of next week. It's in the process. And the reason why, okay, so should I just focus on running for Congress in somewhere in Ohio? Sure, arguably, right? But then I would be a hypocrite because I said I wanted to help people. And if I just focus on me and my proverbial career in politics, I would be, in my opinion, a sellout.
Okay. And okay, so do you feel positive about the future under Trump and the ability of the left to make any gains? You're not.
Here's the thing: if we do nothing, or if we continue to be fragmented, let's leave it at that. If we continue to not combine our resources and our efforts, right? And I'm not saying, we have to just pick one and do it. It's just we have to share our information. So long as we're sharing information, I think we're solid, because then we're not doing the same work over and over again. But if we do nothing and just let the Democrats and the Republicans play out, it's just going to continue to be this divisive nonsense. And, well, we've seen what Trump has done in, 6 weeks, 5 weeks?
Yeah.
I hope it's not that long, but it probably is. He's done a ban. He's passed the executive order for the wall. The Republicans are trying to dismantle the ACA without literally having a replacement for it. I mean, this isn't even the first year or the first 2 years. This is within the first 6 months.
So what's supposed to happen is that they get exposed for being bad governors, that they can't govern, meaning Republicans, and that their ideas are actually bad ideas and they don't make people's lives better, and then the Democrats take power, which is what happened under George Bush. And in 2006, I mean, by the time Barack Obama showed up, we had a solid Democratic House, solid Democratic Senate. We had a black guy with a Muslim name as our president, and they had a filibuster-proof Senate, and we still got a right-wing fucking healthcare plan anyway. And we didn't get card check, and they didn't re-regulate Wall Street, and they didn't put any of those guys. They didn't do a fucking thing to help people.
Say it again.
I mean, that's that. So let's why. So that's what the problem is. Now that's the same shit. It's like, we got to get rid of Trump so we can go back to that thing that rendered half our country poor.
Right. And that's the problem. And that's what I was trying to say. And you know what? I'm sure there's going to be DNC members watching. It's like, well, screw that guy. Who the hell does he think he is? But I'm more than happy to reform the party. It's just you're going to have to step aside.
I do have a question here. I was emailed from some of the donor class, and they do want to know, who the hell do you think you are?
I think I'm Samuel Ronan, and I think you guys have screwed up, and you just don't want to hear it. And I'm sorry that I'm 27 years old. I'm sorry that all I've done is be a veteran to my country. I'm sorry that the only thing I have to my name is that I looked at what the problems are as unbiased as possible, as logically as possible, and the problems are you. I'm sorry.
So why do you think Keith Ellison went along so easily? Why is he that much more establishment than people think he is?
I do not want to talk bad about either individual, but I will say this. If Bernie Sanders' hands are tied, or he's choosing not to do it, then Keith Ellison is that much more so hands tied. He's just a congressman, right? He's not on the same stage as Tulsi Gabbard, who legitimately said, or who was a congresswoman, part of the vice chair, and then left to support. I mean, that is a huge, Keith Ellison, though, was the guy. He was the anointed one, right? You're the chosen one. And he didn't step up. I'm saying the things Keith Ellison should have been saying. And if Keith Ellison, I swear to you, I went to Columbus, I saw him speak, I was happy about every single answer he gave, except for the one about how are you going to bring people back. He gave a stump speech. All he had to do was walk up to the crowd, hand them the microphone, and say, what have we done wrong? Or what can we do better? Hey, Jimmy, what is it you need from me? Seriously, let me know and I'll help you. If he had said that, I would have never ran. I would have supported him in every way I could have. But that's, I don't know, maybe that was asking or hoping too much for the DNC race. And so that guy who sent you that email, who the hell do I think I am? I'm sorry. I'm the guy telling you how to fix your problem. And if you're choosing not to listen to me, then guess what? The rest of the country who does like what I have to say, that outnumbers you 2, 3, 4 to 1 is.
Well, was it Upton Sinclair who said it's hard to get a man to understand a problem when his salary depends on him not understanding it?
Right.
So that's the problem in the Democratic Party right now. And that's why you have people who are otherwise very smart people like Tom Perez or Neera Tanden or people who have high intellect sound like complete knuckleheads when they're asked a straight question because, oh my God, I'm paid to not understand this problem. I'm paid to pretend this isn't a problem. In fact, they're paid to pretend that the problem is the solution.
Right.
That the problem, which is their corporate money and their allegiance to the people who are working against their base, that's the problem. They see that as the solution. That's the knife to a knife fight, in Tom Perez's words. That I got to take that. That's going to help me win. No, that's your poison. And that's what you're trying to wake them up to. And you got how many votes? Zero. Okay.
I had to carry the 2 first. Sorry.
Yes. So when I saw that, and then I saw Keith Ellison try to pretend. I mean, in his first interview with MSNBC, he started to talk about Russia, and it was just like, well, it's all over. I mean, the Democrats really, and so that hurts the country. But people are still going to be angry at people like me or third-party people with no money and no power. Right. All we're doing is screaming against corruption, and somehow you're not supposed to do it. That's rude. Right? When you do that, people said you were pretty rude to do that. I remember I loved what you said. I was going to interrupt anyway when Tom Perez couldn't answer that question. And then the question was, he just kept saying transparency. It wasn't transparent, so it created the problem of transparency. And the transparency problem of who the fuck thinks that's going to connect with anyone? And the fact is that, when you're watching the DNC debate, I'm going to tell you, bricklayers and mechanics and bartenders are not watching the DNC debate. Who's watching it are the people who, and if they are mechanics and truck drivers, they're the most informed people. Yeah. They're the most informed truck driver. They're the most informed bricklayer about politics watching that. So when you make a bullshit answer like that, it hurts you more than telling the truth would. They think telling the truth is going to hurt because it's going to hurt them with the donors.
Right.
And that's the perfect example. It's like, I'd rather turn off voters than turn off donors.
And it's a self-defeating direction. I mean, like you said, and let's take it back a step further. They think the only way to get the money is through the donors. Did we not just see an example in 2016? I think there was a guy, Bernie Sanders, right? That guy. Didn't he send an email or something and in 24 hours got $3 million freaking dollars? Are you kidding me? People
look at what the ACLU. They just raised $24 million over, I think, a 2-day period. More than they usually raise $3 or $4 million for the whole year online.
Right, and that's the thing. People like you and me. I mean, if we have something to offer and something to believe in, we'll give the shirt off our back to do it. And that's what. How do they not see this? Don't they have the
I'm telling you, it's that quote of they're paid to not see it. And so we got to get money out of politics. Jen Kruger had it right when he started wolf-pack.com, and to get there's that route to get the constitutional amendment. Mm-hmm. There's Justice Democrats, there's the Bernie-crats, there's now the draft Bernie people, there's the new Congress, there's all these kind of people, and you want to create a database for all those people. That's what I hear.
All I want to do is literally be the one-stop shop, the app, if you will.
Okay, well, get work. What are you doing here? You get to work.
This is part of it. I get to sell it, right? Okay. It's the marketing. It's like, hey, buy my thing. No, okay. But seriously, you got to. If the whole way to beat money is to use our money, because Well, what's the fundamental problem with money in politics? It's not from us.
Right.
If it was our money, we wouldn't care, right? Because it's our
Correct.
money, we're fundraising our own thing.
Right.
So that's what we have to do. And there are significantly more people not affiliated with the
Right.
Dems or the Republicans that if we spent our own money, we would have. And this is the worst part. Say the most active people in politics is about 30 million. Out of 270 million eligible voters, 30 million are actually active. If each of those people donated $1 to their own damn cause each month, they would make more money than the
Right.
Democrats are making now
Right.
with corporate influence. That is how pathetic
Right.
it is, and why it's so mind-boggling that we're not coalescing, because the 99%, we are the power. There's no question.
Bernie showed it that, you don't have to be a sucker. You don't have to take their money. If you go to the people will support you. And it really worked for him. And I just hope more people catch on to that.
Yeah.
I know, I have a friend who's going to run in Iowa, who's thinking about running for Congress. People have asked him to run. And he said, the whole thing is money. And I said, well, how much would you need? Do you know how much he thinks he says it's going to take him $800,000 just to run in the primary.
Of Idaho?
In Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. Okay.
So I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. I didn't know it took that much money to run for Congress, but apparently it does. So you can see why someone would get into a room with somebody who could give them $50,000 and be like, I'll be nice to you,
Yeah.
I could see how and that's the corrupting power of money, right?
Because it costs money.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's a crap ton of money to run for office. Well, you know what? It depends. Because I spent $6,000 on my state representative race, which took most of Warren County, right? I think there was 60 or 80,000 residents who could vote in there. Or no, 60,000. And I bought 60,000 pamphlets. And by the way, I still have 40,000. So if you want, some souvenirs to take home, let me know. But I only spent $6,000 on my campaign. Everything else was legwork. That's how you win. The materials, that's easy. Maybe for a congressional run, you may need, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000, just because you need more stuff. Senate, maybe you're closer to the $100,000 or $200,000. I get it. You need money to buy the actual thing. But why do you need $5 or $10 or $20 million? Because I'm going to buy TV ads. Stupid. Hello. No. If you're running a big enough campaign, online is free. You get a following and a buzz. You get all this free exposure. And here's the thing. The Democratic Party, right? They have all this money, supposedly, or they should, arguably. But they don't. Anyway, in theory, they have all this money. You have the name. You have this title. You have this infrastructure. And it's top down, right? So why wouldn't you give your big old amount of money to the little guy so he can, I don't know, have a chance of winning, to buy this crap in the first place?
Because you were talking in our last interview about how the Democratic Party or the DNC didn't help down ballot people like you
Right.
in places like Ohio.
Right, because in rural America, there is no process. And then, okay, fine, the county party...
So that's what they mean by a 50-state strategy, right? So that's
No,
what people,
no.
That's not what they mean?
That's not what they meant.
Well, what?
The 50-state strategy is giving money to the state parties. Now, let me tell you something else. The state parties choose how they divvy out their money autonomously. And again, this isn't going to make me popular with the ODP, but they told me to my face and to everybody else in the room that we are only going to sponsor, finance, support, endorse the top 6.
The top 6
candidates for state representative.
So what do you mean, like in the whole state?
In the whole state, the top 6 Democratic state representative candidates who don't need their help anyway because they're the top freaking 6.
Well, that's crazy, right? That doesn't seem smart.
No, it isn't. That's the point. If you're gonna invest your money, you would invest it at the foundation, right? If you have,
you would think,
if you have an old crappy car that's falling to pieces because the frame is rusted out, do you buy new tires? No.
I guess you would fix the frame first, Sam.
I mean, personally, I think that would make sense, but apparently not.
I would. I like your analogy. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming all the way out here and talking to us, doing our show and letting people know about this new app and website you're working on to have a big resource for progressives. Get on it. We need it.
Hey, and
all right.
Can I do a little blurb here?
Please do it.
One of the things I desperately need is the people to make that happen. A lot of it is data mining, honestly, and sharing the information, right? It's grueling. It really is. But we need to get the information. Not every Secretary of State website is forthcoming, so you got to do the legwork research, type it out, and put it in an Excel spreadsheet. We also need to know who's the volunteers, and we need to combine those lists. So help me. I need marketers. I need fundraisers. I need programmers. I need literally everything from the ground up. So it'll start off trying to build it for the states, right? So California rules overarching this, Ohio rules overarching that. I already have Facebook groups set up, and it's a little gimmicky, so don't make fun of me. It's the Ronan Warriors of, and then enter your state. And then the pack will also be the Ronan Warrior pack, right? I got to put my name out there for a little bit. You're judging me.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Sounds great. I used to have, you know what, I did, when I was in college, I would get business cards that said I was a Playboy photographer. It fulfilled the same thing that you're doing. Anyway.
Fair enough. So, I mean, that's what I need. I need help, and if you guys have like these cool degrees, masters and PhDs and all this stuff, I can't pay you yet, but if you're a fundraiser that can get the money going, then I can.
So if you can raise money to pay yourself, this is the kind of guy he's looking for. You are exactly. If you're self-paying, holy shit, I want to hire 10 of you.
That's right.
Sam, thanks for stopping by. It's great work. Thanks for being a progressive, and I loved watching you on the DNC debates. I hope you get in more situations to speak truth to power like that, because it doesn't happen ever anymore, and especially on national television. It was great to see, and you made a lot of people excited and happy, and you give a lot of people hope for the future. So thanks for doing that.
Absolutely, Jimmy. I plan to.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. Hey, the next live Jimmy Dore show is March 4th. That's a Saturday. Get your tickets right below. The next one after that is March 20th. The shows sell out really fast, so get your tickets right now. Links right there.